Hello, good afternoon. My name is Omolara Ishola. I'm the host of Possibilities Divine Ministries. The focus of this ministry is to build godly relationships. And excited to talk to the singles today. Today, the focus is on the singles. There are three important things I would like you to pay attention to if either you're a guy or a girl and you're planning and preparing for marriage. Those three things are very important, either when you're looking or when you're sitting or when you're about going to the altar. You must pay attention to these three things. This is going to be a very short video. However, when you have that hidden somewhere and you expand on it and you gather knowledge as you go on, you discover that you avoid heartbreak, you avoid getting into marriage and figuring out certain things. So today, the first thing I'm going to talk about is no desperation. I've often said this for those who listen to me that desperation has a smell. When you're desperate and you're looking for a life partner, you are in a rush. You can't pay attention to the things that matter. But when you are preparing for marriage, don't just grab the next person that comes around that looks like it. Or like people will say now, here's my spec or she's my spec. Don't grab the next person that looks like your spec. Don't grab the next person that fits the bill. Don't grab the next person because, oh, time is not on my side. People will tell you a woman's biological clock clicks. It ticks, and it's by the time you hit a certain age, you're no longer viable as it concerns marriage. That is a lie. One of the things that you need to understand when you're considering marriage is that one, God's time is the best. He makes all things beautiful in its own time. That's not for you to go and sit down and not get ready or present yourself in a good way. However, do not allow anybody to box you into to put you in a to box you into a corner and say, if you do not marry by the end of this year, you're not likely to find a guy or you're not likely to find a woman. That is not true. Time is gone. Time may be gone. But if you make a mistake, if you grab the next person that comes, you would even spend more time going back to the drawing board by the time you discover that is the wrong person. When you are preparing for marriage, don't feel you have to suck up to that person, whether you're a guy. Don't think I have to buy the wig, I have to buy the makeup, I have to make sure I provide all that she needs so that she'll consider me. Also, if you're a girl or a lady, don't feel I have to start washing clothes, I have to start paying bills, I have to start being responsible, buying his family members gifts so that they will accept me. All those things constitute desperation. If somebody loves you, they love you for who you are. And if they don't like you, you may buy them all the world. If they don't like you, they don't like you. So when preparing for marriage, don't think you can buy anybody. A guy should not think he can buy a girl. Neither should a girl think she can buy a guy, the family, the friends, or those who would probably have a say in checking you or allowing him to marry you. It's important for you to know that no amount of maneuvering can secure you a good marriage. If you successfully secure a guy's attention, maybe because you cook, you dress well, you sleep with him, by the time you get into marriage, if you do not have the right foundation, you find out that he becomes disinterested. The same way, if you as a guy, if you razzle and dazzle a girl, eventually when she finds out that you do not have any stuff, substance feasible. So when preparing for marriage, no desperation. And desperation brings its cousins, like I said, grabbing the next person that comes along, trying to force yourself on people to like you, buying people over, maneuvering your way, trying to impress them, either with what you have or with what you give them. Another thing is, before you get into marriage, count the cost. What does it really mean going into marriage? It means you're joining your life with somebody else's, meaning decisions, actions, every other thing that you do going forward, you have to do with this person. And so when you are counting the cost, you need to ask yourself, do I love this person enough to hand over my destiny into their hands if you're a woman? Somebody says, well, what does that mean? Why do I have to hand over my destiny? Yes. When you get married to somebody, you need to submit. especially for the most part, my videos, I'm a Christian. And so I speak from a Christian background. And so if you're listening to me, that is my reference point. I am a child of God. And I believe that if you're a child of God and you're trusting God for a marriage partner, you must involve God in that. And when you involve God, it means you're going to play ball according to God's will and according to his standard. So the word of God says, wives, submit to your husbands. So that means if you're going to get married to a person, spend the rest of your life with that guy, you must be ready to submit. So if you decide to go into marriage with somebody you look at and like, me, no, never, I can't submit to that person, then that means you're already planning failure before you get into it. That will not be your portion. Know what you're getting into. Know what it entails. Know that it will no longer be me, myself, and I. Know that marriage involves sacrifice. Know that marriage would take from you. It would require you to give of yourself, to give of your time, to give of your attention, to give of your emotions, to give of your resources, and to give of every aspect of you. You cannot go into marriage without being willing to give. Another thing is that when you are thinking about going into marriage, we're talking about counting the cost. Faith has its place. Faith, you're trusting God for the right person, but you must also go into marriage prepared for what it takes. I'm sure you've heard people talk about marriage being work, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be laboring, but it just means that you have to put in effort. So that means that when you're going into marriage, count the cost. What is the cost? What's it going to cost me to have a happily ever after? It means, who are you getting into a relationship with? If a guy is checking you out, does he have a job? And oftentimes people will like, but I have a good job. It doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter right now. But by the time you are 1 year, 2 years into the marriage relationship and you are carrying a dead weight, as it were, it will begin to matter. It is very important that the guy has a job as the head of the home, so that it doesn't matter. The wife may have a better paying job, but the guy must have something that he does. Because when God created man and he created woman to support, he said, a helpmeet, meaning when you're thinking of bringing a woman into your life, she must come to help you with what you're already doing. She shouldn't come in, take over, and become overburdened. So you as a lady, when you're looking at a guy and you're going into marriage, are you going to be the one bearing the weight? That is not how God ordained it. That's not God's idea. And while I'm saying that, it doesn't mean that a woman is not free to help someone that she's going to spend the rest of her life with. No, we're there to help. However, if you're the one already paying the bills, you're paying rent, you own the car, you pay for clothes, you pay for everything, after a while, you may become overburdened and marriage will no longer be enjoyable. But God created man as the head so that he will be in charge. And then you come in and you help. And so whatever is provided, it becomes better. So faith means, yes, don't marry a guy because of what he has. Don't marry a guy because, okay, he can afford to clothe and feed, and that's the only reason. But marry a guy who has a future, who has a vision, because the vision is what will propel you. It may not look like it right now. You may not have everything set, but as you travel on the way, the vision will begin to open up and make way for you. No wonder the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4 says, write the vision down, make it plain. Every man must have a vision of where he sees himself down the road. Every woman must have a vision of where she sees herself. And so by the time somebody comes to you and your vision aligned, then you'll be able to travel in the same direction. Amos 3:3, shall two walk together except they be agreed? So make sure before you get into any relationship, as you're preparing for marriage, and maybe you have people who come around, prayerfully x-ray. There'll be people who come around and check what your vision and see, does this person fit into it? Where do I fit into in somebody else's vision, so that life would work out very well for you. Finally, the qualities that prepare you for marriage. There are qualities that prepare you for marriage. When you look at, when you read the story of Abraham's servants who went to look for a wife for Isaac in the book of Genesis chapter 24, when you read that entire chapter, it just focuses on how Rebecca came as an answer to the prayer. So whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, it's important for you to pray about marriage. I wrote a book, it's called Are You the One to Come? And I have step-by-step process of how to know the right person to when you're thinking of getting married. So when you're talking about it, there are qualities that prepare you for marriage. You have to be comely. What does that mean? Somebody says, does that mean I have to wear makeup? Or the guy says, does that mean I have to wear a three-piece suit? Not quite. The qualities that prepare you for marriage, they are comeliness. You look good. You're well-groomed. You're presentable. Another one is you're willing to serve others. Well, the story in that passage in Genesis 24 shows us how Rebecca came to a sin, not knowing that she was an answer to somebody's prayer. She just appeared. She was going to fetch her water. She was found in her daily routine. And she got there and somebody said, do you mind giving me water? She said, oh, sure, by all means. I'm going to give you water and I'm going to also give water to your camel. And we have observed that camels are animals that drink a lot of water. So that means Rebecca had to stop, had to put a break into her plan that day, running back and forth to make sure she provided enough water for the camels of that man to drink. Somebody's always watching. That's the final thing. When you're talking about the qualities that prepare you for marriage, somebody's always watching. You may not know. Rebecca had no idea that she was under the lens of heaven, that she was under somebody's camera watching her to see what she was going to do. And so she was willing to sacrifice her time to give. So also sometimes in the place of service, the right person finds you. And whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, who are you willing to serve? And those are qualities that will prepare you. And when you find people who are willing to serve others, you know that they're already prepared for marriage. Because in marriage, oh my goodness, you will have to serve your spouse. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, you have to be willing to serve. And when you serve each other, you see that it allows your love to mature and to blossom. Selfishness is one of the character traits that can destroy any relationship. It doesn't matter how good both of you are. If there is any selfish trait, either from the guy or from the girl, it has the tendency to destroy any marriage relationship. So that's about the size of it today. Three major things I said. I said no desperation, count the cost, and pay attention to the qualities that prepare you for marriage. I hope God has been able to help you or bless you with one or two things. If you have any questions, you want to send any message, you can reach us at possibilitiesdivine.org. So possibilitiesdivine.org. Do have a wonderful Sunday. God bless you. Bye now.